We're keeping our eye on a few showers making their way through the borderland this morning. For the most part, though, we are looking dry. We'll go ahead and give you a look outside. If we're headed out to that parade we were talking about earlier, things are looking pretty good, especially for the first half of your day. For the parade, we've got about 88 degrees. That's going to be at 9 a.m. Mostly sunny skies.
Out here at Wet and Wild, keeping cool and beating the heat. We've got some kids coming down the water slides here. Let's jump ahead into the forecast. Looks like a lot of fun. I might have to try that later.
I'll give you the smiley face there, but afternoon and into the evening, just enough of those storms once again to give you a little bit of an eye roll, that daily threat that we've been seeing. We've also gotten a lot of photos and videos of the storms that rolled through last night. Awesome shots of some lightning that Chloe sent to us. If you have any photos or videos you'd like to share, send them to us at cbs4local.com/chime in. Now, but if you travel up I-10 and you're headed towards Las Cruces, maybe you're noticing a little bit of that rainfall. It is starting to thin out just a little bit, but you'll notice in parts of Doña Ana County and even over into Luna County, still seeing a few of those showers this morning. It's not going to be overly warm, but still pretty sunny. We're going to see some periods of sun and clouds, but just because we're seeing those clouds, don't forget that we do still have a very high UV index. That means keeping the hat, sunglasses, sunscreen available and close by, and remember, burn time in just 15 minutes. Thunderstorm risk, it does increase with that plume of moisture that's moving into the borderland. The biggest impacts we're going to see with these thunderstorms, maybe some lightning and some gusty winds, but the biggest thing we're going to keep our eye on will be some flooding because of the moisture. That's going to increase the rainfall, heavy at times, and that's why we have that weather warning.
Also, if you're a little sweaty, you might get a nice breeze up here. That feels pretty good as well. I'll continue to break down that 7-day forecast. We'll have a look at some elephants cooling off, how the zoo animals are keeping cool. Oh, I'm a little out of breath. We'll talk about all of that coming up in just a little bit. Amanda, Selena.
Air quality alert. This is just for the El Paso area. It's going to be for ozone pollution. So doing things like maybe riding your bike, carpooling, going to be helpful throughout your day today. If you've been looking to get the car washed, now is not the time of year in general for that. We are looking at those daily threats for isolated thunderstorms, which means just enough rain to dirty up your car. So we do have a flash flood watch in effect, and that's going to be the biggest reason for this weather warning going into effect tonight, staying in effect through tomorrow, and that's going to be for the potential for some heavy rainfall. We're tapping into that monsoon moisture, which means we have plenty of moisture in the atmosphere. Also, we are going to see a storm system move through, so that's what's going to spark off some of those storms, creating that heavy rainfall. Today is actually the first day of summer. Summer arrived at 2:13 early this morning, so just a few hours ago, but it is not going to feel like summer today. Earlier, maybe a little sticky out there. You'll notice the humidity into that 50-60% range. Arteries and veins camera showing some nice colors, and we are seeing on our radar and clouds a little bit of green, which does mean that there is some moisture out there. Maybe a little rain happening right around the Chaparral area and some higher elevation showers here in the lowlands. We are looking dry, but those threats for storms are going to increase this afternoon. What you're looking at, all this green, is our Storm Prediction Center outlook. So we do have that threat for some thunderstorms slightly higher today to pop up later this afternoon. So what we're looking at with these storms will be the threat for some gusty winds, some heavy rainfall, biggest ones there, and then also some lightning. So after about 1 p.m., likely up in the mountains, we'll start to see a few of those lightning strikes moving into the area. That's what some of this blue is that you're looking at. So the threat is overall pretty low, but still going to be there. So the biggest thing you should know is when you do hear that thunder, that's a good indication that lightning is close enough that it can impact you. So around Las Cruces, right around 4 o'clock this afternoon, we could start to see some of those storms as well. As we head into our evening and nighttime hours, the threats do decrease just a bit. With that being said, if you're headed out to watch the Chihuahuas tonight, that game is at 6:35. We will see some slight threats for those isolated storms, about a 20% chance, so do keep that in mind. Temperature-wise, things are looking pretty good. We're going to be in those 80s, maybe even some 70s by the end of the game, so make sure you're getting out to enjoy it, but staying weather aware. Temperature-wise, only into those 80s today. We're going to be back into those 90s as we head into your Wednesday and Thursday. Storm chances are going to hang around for the next few days and even into early next week. We already have our eye on the 4th of July, which is next Monday. Will these temperatures heat back up, and will we have that storm threat? We'll talk about it coming up in my 7-day forecast. Temperature-wise, yesterday we talked about coming close to breaking a record, not quite making it there. Record to beat was 106 degrees. We hit 105. Keep in mind we do have our heat advisory in effect. That expires in under an hour, so this is not as much of an issue for us today, although it is still going to be a very hot day. So keep that in mind. We're not meeting that criteria for that heat advisory, but we're still looking at a high of 102 degrees today with a wind gust or two, potentially up to 20, maybe 25 miles per hour. Seeing these winds pick up a little bit more afternoon, more of a breezy day than anything, kind of similar to yesterday. Some of the stronger gusts this afternoon, and then those calming down a little bit more after sunset. Storm-wise, most of these are only going to affect areas into Hudspeth County. This is actually after about 9 o'clock tonight, so more of those storms in that area. But later in the week, we do start to see slightly higher chances across the area, a little closer to El Paso for some of those storms to pop up. So we're looking at temperatures starting to fall slowly. Thursday is when we're going to see slightly higher chances for those storms in our area. I'll break down those thunderstorm threats as we head into your Father's Day weekend. That's coming up in just a few minutes.